The greatest battles a man will ever fight are not on the battlefield, but within himself. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, understood this deeply. He ruled the largest empire in the world, yet each day he reminded himself not to conquer lands, but to conquer his mind. He knew what truly destroys a man is not the strength of his enemies, but the weaknesses he tolerates inside himself. In his personal writings, later published as meditations, he didn't record victories or titles. He recorded thoughts, reminders to stay disciplined, to reject comfort, to live with purpose. Why? Because greatness begins when weakness ends. If you want to become the man you are capable of being, respected, focused, unbreakable, you must first face the 5 hidden weaknesses that destroy most men. These are the silent assassins of ambition, discipline, and legacy. And unless you cut them out, they will cut you down. Here are the 5 weaknesses according to the Stoic teachings of Marcus Aurelius and how to defeat them. Comfort is the silent killer of men. Marcus Aurelius could have lived a life of indulgence. He was emperor, with endless luxury at his feet. But instead he chose hardship. He rose early. He disciplined his thoughts. He wrote to himself, "Just that you do the right thing. The rest doesn't matter. Not the bed you sleep in, not the food on your plate, not the softness of the road, only the strength of your stride." Most men today are trapped by ease. They choose what feels good over what makes them great. They fear discomfort, pain, resistance, but these are the very things that forge character. Comfort gives you nothing. Discomfort gives you growth. The Stoics trained themselves through voluntary hardship, fasting, cold, isolation. So when life hit hard, they didn't crumble. Are you training yourself, or are you letting softness define you? A man who avoids discomfort is a man who avoids himself. Face pain, walk into the fire, and become steel through the struggle. One of the most dangerous traps for any man is the desire to be constantly validated by others. It may seem harmless, even human, but in reality, it is spiritual slavery. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." Think about that. You trust others more than you trust your own voice. You measure your worth by applause, your value by compliments, your progress by the opinions of people who may not even know you. The Stoics taught that true freedom begins when you no longer need to be seen, praised, or approved of to take action. A man who is addicted to validation will never be able to stand alone. He will always bend, perform, and conform, losing his integrity in the process. The solution? Build your own inner scorecard. Ask yourself daily, would I still do this if no one ever noticed? Your answer will reveal your character. Live for principles, not praise. Respect yourself so deeply that external opinions become background noise. This is the way of the Stoic. This is the way of the man who leads himself. No man can rise while pointing fingers. Marcus Aurelius faced plagues, betrayal, war, and loss, yet he never blamed others. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. Blame is weakness dressed as logic. It says, "I am this way because of them." But in truth, the moment you blame, you surrender control. You hand over your life to circumstances. You excuse your lack of action, your broken habits, your stagnation, and call it justice. You cannot lead in blame. You cannot build in blame. You cannot rise in blame. Blame is the language of the man who refuses to grow. Stoicism teaches radical ownership. Own your thoughts. Own your choices. Own your consequences. That doesn't mean life is fair. It means you are responsible anyway. Power begins when blame ends. Strength begins where accountability is born. A man without discipline is a man without a future. Marcus Aurelius treated each day like a mission. He woke with purpose, wrote with focus, ruled with order. Concentrate every minute on doing what's in front of you with precise and genuine seriousness. This wasn't just philosophy, it was practice. Discipline is freedom. It builds structure out of chaos. It turns dreams into routines. Without it, potential dies, ambition rots, regret grows. Most men want results without repetition. They want success without sacrifice. They want the crown, but skip the grind. The Stoic laughs at this. He knows the work is the reward. Do you control your day, or does it control you? Do you master your habits, or are you a slave to your urges? Discipline is the great divider. The world is full of talented men with no results because they lack the will to stay the course. Be different. Be disciplined. Be dangerous in your consistency. The ultimate weakness? Fear of death. Marcus Aurelius meditated constantly on mortality. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. Why? Because when you accept death, you begin to truly live. Most men live like they'll never die, delaying dreams, avoiding truth, living on autopilot. But the Stoic sees every day as a gift. Every moment is one less moment. Time is not to be wasted. The fear of death creates cowardice. It makes you play small, choose safety, and avoid the unknown. But the man who makes peace with death becomes fearless, bold, fully alive. Live as if your time is short, because it is. Say what needs to be said. Do what must be done. Don't wait. Every second is a test. Every breath is a chance. Greatness doesn't come later. It comes now. Ego is the false self, and it always falls. Marcus Aurelius ruled the world, yet constantly reminded himself, "You're just a soul carrying a corpse." He saw through the illusion of importance. He knew that pride is the enemy of wisdom. The ego wants status, image, attention. But these things rot the soul. They keep you comparing, posturing, pretending. The Stoic man has no need to prove, only to improve. Arrogance blinds you to your flaws. It shuts out feedback. It stops growth. And most dangerously, it isolates you from truth. A man ruled by ego may rise quickly, but he falls hard. Choose humility. Choose learning. Choose silence over shouting. Let your actions speak louder than your pride ever could. Kill the ego. Free the man. A man without purpose is a ship without a sail. He drifts. He reacts. He becomes whatever the world pushes him to be. Marcus Aurelius found purpose not in power, but in virtue. At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, "I have to go to work," as a human being. His purpose was simple: to live with reason, justice, courage, and self-control. What is yours? Without purpose, men fall into vice. They chase pleasure. They run from responsibility. They fill the void with distraction, consumption, noise. Purpose is not something you wait for. It is something you create. Through action, through pain, through meaning. You must decide who you are and what you serve. Not someday, today. You don't need the perfect plan. You need a direction, a reason to rise when it's hard, a mission bigger than yourself. Find your purpose or waste your life. The Stoics did not promise comfort. They offered clarity. Marcus Aurelius left behind a blueprint, not for perfect men, but for disciplined, humble, resilient ones. Men who fight their inner war. Men who rise through struggle. Men who reject the easy life to build a meaningful one. You now know the 5 weaknesses that destroy most men: the need for constant validation, the love of comfort, the habit of blame, the lack of discipline, the fear of death, the poison of ego, the emptiness of a life without purpose. But knowledge is not power. Applied knowledge is. Look inward. Face these weaknesses. Eliminate them. Because greatness isn't given, it's earned. And it begins the moment you decide to master yourself, not someday, but now.